Level from spaghetti code to smart code, where it has revealed that 70 up to 80% project using object-oriented programming or proximity. There are different styles of creating and writing easy, manageable, and scalable software apps. That includes object-oriented programming style. Object-oriented programming is a way of writing programs by grouping related data functions together into one unit called an object. This means object holds data and functions together, just like real things in the world. We are going to learn basics of object-oriented programming in Python. Let's get started by understanding what is classes and objects. Let's start by two building blocks of the object-oriented programming that are classes and object. Classes are the blueprint of the object. Okay? A class, you can take it as the bank account, where when you have an account, you can perform more and more service in that bank. So, to create a class in Python, we simply use the keyword class. And then we write the class name. Almost developer, they start with the capital letter. So let's start with the capital letter. If you start with the lower letter, no problem. Let's call the class bank name, the bank account. In the bank account, we might have an attribute. So the attribute or the characteristic of the account. Account, it may be an object. We're gonna see. So we may have like balance. Before the balance, we might have an account number. So this is the way of creating an attribute. An attribute also, for people who are familiar with the C++ object-oriented programming, they can call it members. After these members, we need a function or a method. So a method starts simply with a keyword def, which starts the function as normal in Python. So then you write the name of the function. Here we need to put the underscore, and then we put init underscore. Then this is the constructor. This method is called when you create an object. So each method in Python object-oriented programming has the argument self. And also in this method we can receive different parameters. Some of that parameters can be the balance, or it can be an account number. So after this, to access each data member here, we simply write self keyword. You can take self as it is in C++. This is used to access each data member. Data member is the account number and also the balance. So to access each data member, we use this keyword self. And then we put the dot. Then we write the name of that data member. So the first data member is going to be account. So this account number is going to be equal to this account number as the parameter. Then also we can access the balance by simply access the balance, which is going to be equal to balance. So this balance, it might be better when you convert it into the type of integer or a float. So as you want in your system, but the almost many are going in type of float. Okay. Then now this is our data member initialization. So this function called automatically when we create an object. So let's go first to create an object. So to create an object is like account 1, account 2, account 3. So anyone who can create an account, so account is an object. So each account should have the account number and should have a balance. History, we can write the object name. So to write object name, we simply use the convention of naming the variable in Python. So now let's say is account 1. Now we are going to say account 1 is equal to class name with parentheses. So simply we write bank account and then we add the parentheses. So this is the object name. This is how we create the object name. We write the object name, then we put the equal sign, and then we put the name of the class and followed with the parentheses. After this, we need to pass this argument, because when we create this object name, it is simply automatically called this function of init. So simply we need to pass these two arguments, which is balance and account number. So the balance, let's say the starting balance is going to be 5,000, and then the account number is supposed to be like this one. All right, now this is our account number. Now if I want to access my account number to print it on the screen, I simply write the account as the object name, then I put the dot. After put the dot, I can write the balance, for example, and then I run. See, the balance is 5,000, and also it is in term of float because it is the cash. And also as well, you can use it to access the account number by simply writing that variable of accounting number. Then you see this is the account number. That is great. Let's make small minimize. All right. So instead of use all of this to access account number, I can simply delete this and I come here inside the class, which is bank account, and I press enter. I put another function, and this function I'm gonna call it check the balance. I can check the balance. All right.
Sorry.
Check the balance. So inside check the balance, I simply write self. I told you this is an argument that go inside the parentheses of any function in object-oriented programming in Python. All right, now here I can simply write print function. This is going to help me to print the values on the screen. By simply use f-string to format our output, I can type, so let's say the current balance is then I put this curly brace. Inside the curly brace, I'm going to type self, which is going to help me to access the balance. So then I put self dot balance. All right, now I can come again here on my object and I write the object name. I put the dot, then I call that function of check balance. Simply write check balance. Then when I run this, you see the output is gonna be check the balance is 5,000. Current balance is 5,000. All right. Then, because the Python is flexible, if you want, you cannot define this data member, and you can simply start with the init function. And then we start with the self with the account number for each instance or for each n account. Okay, so it looks like the same. When I run, it's still the same answer. Okay, when I click on run, it's still the same answer. So this is what we call the instance variables, this one. So while when we need, we can put the share variable where we can add the variable like a bank account, so or say bank name, where bank name is gonna be where the bank account can be TechBK, and then each instance should have this variable name of TechBK, which is class variable. So when I create another account, let me call it account 2. So we are familiar with creating an account name, the name of class, and right here we can pass the value by simply pass 2000, and then I pass the number of an account. All right, let's do like this. Let's guess. Now each has the value of this bank name. When I type the account, even 1 or 2, then I type the bank name, we simply see the bank name. And also I can do this on the second argument, and I change 1 to 2, and then I see the bank name is TechBK for all. All right, let's jump to the different pillars. Let's start on the first pillar, which is encapsulation. That is the protecting your data, or simply you can say it's data hiding. We are going to hide our data. How? So you see, as normal, we are accessing the bank name as normal here. But if you want, let me make this one comment, or even delete it. So when I put a data hiding, where you are familiar, is called the access modifier. We have a 3 access modifier. The first one is private, protected, and public. So this we are familiar, this we are using is the public. This is the public, where we access this data everywhere, and also this is the public. So when I make this private, I can simply type example like a pin. So every account is going to get the pin. Now let's say pin is 1, 2, 3. Now I can simply type the account. If it's account 1, then I can type pin. If I run, you see the pin is 1, 2. So you can access it anyway. But when I make it, when I put underscore, double underscore, you get it? When I put double underscore, it becomes the private. Okay. All right. Now this is a data member of pin. It becomes the private. Now when I try to access again, this display an error. You get it? So because this is private, is only allowed to access when you are inside here in the class. So let's try to print a pin here, like type print. Okay, let's create a function. It's gonna be df keyword to create the function. Then let's call it display. Let's call it display pin. All right. So as normal, our class should have this self keyword, and then I'm gonna say print simply write the pin. Okay. This is share the pin. Right here, I'm gonna type self to access my pin, and I put this to underscore. This is double underscore, and then I write pin. So now I can access it. Even if here I can type underscore on pin, I can run and also display an error. So let's make this one comment, and then I try to call another method which is display pin. So let's write display, account, which is account 1. Then I put the dot. I'm going to access the pin by simply write display. When I hit Ctrl plus Enter to learn this, you see this is shared pin, which is 1, 2, and 3. So this is the private member. Another member is the protected. This works on inheritance. We will use it when we arrive in inheritance. I'm not going to use it right now. Another third member, we call it protected, where only data is allowed to be accessed inside the class and also in the child class. So we will see it when we reach in the inheritance. Okay, let's use inheritance in this tutorial. Inheritance helps to reuse and extend our code. This is the normal bank account, so or we can call it current account. If I want, I can create another class, and that class I'm gonna call it simply the saving class. Saving account. Because this is the child class of this bank account. Each saving account should have a bank name and also the PIN shared. We don't need to create another same class which has bank name and PIN shared because that is the duplication of the data. So to make sure this saving account is able to access all elements, all method, all members of this parent class which is bank account, we need to create here a parenthesis, and inside the parenthesis we are going to get an access or a parent class which is bank account. So now any instance or any object that created by this class which is saving account is supposed to access each member of the bank account. This specification we have here, we can say the saving account is only hold the interest rate. So let's create df or init function. So as I have said, this is the constructor in Python. So is as normal, we are familiar with the self. Then here I can receive the interest rate if I want, but interest rate we are going to make it initialization and say let's create the instant variable by simply write interest. So it's going to be interest rate equal to 0.05, which is going to be 5%. And also to make sure this initialization is going to capture another initialization of this bank account, I'm gonna type here a super function. How to use this? So because we need to transfer this value like 5,000 and the number of account to also this object of this saving account, I can simply add here another parameters and I say the balance. Let's call it balance of start. And also I add an account number. All right, this account number. Now to take initialization to this, I'm gonna use a super function. This is going to help me to take this value and initialize it to object of this saving class, by using this init function of bank account. I can simply type underscore, then init, then underscore function. I can simply pass this parameter, which is balance start. Okay, then I put this, and then I pass an account num, which is the account number. So now this instance of the saving account is gonna hold the value of this balance account. Just make initialization twice. Okay, now what the next is simply to create the instance of using for saving account. Create the account 3, which gonna be saving account, and we put the parentheses. So inside this parentheses, we need to pass these two parameters. As you see, now we need to pass the account cash for start, which is this, and also the account number. Now let's make all of this the comment. Now we can learn our program by simply press Ctrl plus Enter to learn the program. So nothing displayed, but if I want, I can say here, okay, let's say account 3 dot interest rate, and I see if I can access interest rate. I'll see we can display the interest rate, which is 0.05. Now I can see whether if I can access this member function of a bank account, because I have the access. This is the child class. Saving account is the child class of this bank account. The bank account is the parent class of child class, which is saving account. So let's access the member of bank account by using the instance or the object created by use saving account or child class. I can simply write account 3, and I put the dot, and I write display pin, and I see if I can see the pin. When I press this, you see this is shared pin. Now I can access each data member of this class of bank account. Okay, in the inheritance, we are going to see also a protected data member. So as we have said, a private data member only accessed inside the class. If it is a bank class, we can't access the pin outside the class. I have showed you when I use the public access of this pin, what was happened. It was displayed an error. So when I try to access this pin in this child class, which is saving account, what can happen? Let's create another DF or data member function. And this member function, I'm gonna say display. Inside here, I'm gonna type self. Then I can simply say print. Inside the print function, I can say pin. Okay, simply write self, and then I put the dot. I put the dot, and after put the dot, I'm gonna type that my data member, which is pin. So I start with double underscore, and then I write pin. And here I can come again, I call that function, which is display pins. So this function is under a class saving account, which means it can be accessed the instance of saving account. Instance is the object. Okay, now we can call the function, which is display pins. Right now we can run. Now you see this is an error because to access the private data member outside the class of bank account is not allowed. You access only when you are inside with this class. Otherwise, it brings an error. This is the way of save your data or data hiding, which is encapsulation. So to access this by only in class and access only with the child of that class, we use protected. So to create a protected, we simply put one underscore and say begins, or let's call it child pin, which gonna be equal like this one. When I try to access here a child pin, all right, let's write child pin. This one we have here, and which will be the result. Let's see. When we run the app, now you see the child pin accessed, which means we can access this data member which is protected inside the class bank account, and also can access it with using the child instance. So in Python, almost they don't consider on the hiding data, but it's better to consider on the hiding data because it increases the security and the accuracy and the readability of your code.